Hey everybody, today is a live episode of How Did This Get Made, which means there might be some things in it that are visual. There might be some things that, sound quality issues, whatever. And what I say to you is, deal with it. It's a free fucking podcast. Okay, and also wanted to let you guys know that my new Adult Swim infomercial is up online. Just type into YouTube, Frank Pierre Presents. Frank Pierre's Resort and Casino Hotel. Anything like that. Frank Pierre Presents. I hope you enjoy it. It stars the amazing Ray Wise. Enjoy the live episode. Enjoy that. Let's do it. He's armed. He's dangerous. He's geriatric. In a movie that makes as much sense as its title. We saw A View to a Kill, so you know what that means. We're gonna have a good time, celebrate some failure, not just be a hater, cause you know you're one man, how did this get made? Let's throw in the mediocrity of subpar art. Perhaps we'll find the answer to the question, how did this get made? Hello, people of Earth! And hello, people of Largo. We are in our Los Angeles home, Largo at the Coronet Theater, one of my favorite, best theaters in Los Angeles. Thank you guys. Give it up. Very excited for tonight. We are getting into the canon of James Bond. So many movies. A lot of them are good, but a lot of them are bad. Let me introduce my co-host. Please welcome June Diane Raphael. Please welcome her.
Hello.
How are you, June?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Please welcome Jason Mantzoukas. What's up, jerks? And in a very special
Do you want me to start it?
Yeah, you want to? Hold on. In a very special podcasting crossover event, very similar to the night when everyone had a blackout, like on Friends and Seinfeld and Caroline in the City. We have our two guests today from the James Bonding Podcast. Please welcome Matt Myra and Matt Gorley. For those of you who cannot see this, which is a lot of you, they are in full tuxedos. And honestly, for those of you who can't see it, so are Jason, June, and I.
And Girly has a James Bond A View to a Kill mug. No, not mug, glass.
That is like a glass that was given out at Arby's, I imagine, right?
So Arby's was handing out licensed highball glasses.
If there's a God in heaven.
Guys, I'm very excited to have you here. You are fans of James Bond, ultimately.
I would go so far as to say experts.
Well, this is very good. Would you say, and your expert opinion, because this is a question that I had about picking this movie, is this the worst James Bond movie?
By the worst, do you mean the best?
Well, look, this is honestly the movie that this is my first James Bond movie. We were talking about this backstage. I remember, the first one I saw as a child. So, sorry, what? The anger.
What? Were people just indignant that he had missed 15 previous movies?
This just turned into Judgment at Nuremberg.
Somebody's basically like, fuck you, Paul.
There was a period of time when I remember telling my dad, I don't want to watch a Sean Connery James Bond. Roger Moore's the best. I didn't understand. I didn't get it. This movie is ingrained in me. Every scene was great. And I know that a lot of people go, this may be the weakest. And other people believe that, License to Kill is the weakest. Where do you guys fall on this?
Thunderball?
Oh,
Yeah. That's a 2 hours of being underwater and fighting slowly.
That's a good call.
Personally, I'm in the same boat as you. This is in my DNA, this movie. I was raised on this movie. I saw it so many times in the theaters, and then it was on cable for what seemed like years on constant loop.
Yeah.
And so much so, like the Duran Duran music, that was associated with me liking girls in middle school, which then I associated with Tanya Roberts and Grace Jones, and so like now I only like mulattoes that fight jujitsu, and it's just...
Wait, so in your mind, Tanya Roberts and
the same woman.
They turn into your ideal female partner.
Absolutely. Everything
So
about me,
they could not act at all.
No, this movie is my origin story.
You are going to be alone forever. Because the woman you are looking for is impossible to find.
Unless I actually land Tanya Roberts and Grace Jones, which isn't entirely impossible, I think.
They're both on Tinder.
I just imagine them sadly swiping right. Just waiting. Waiting.
Oh, look at this. Who's this? Grace? No thanks.
Now, June, June comes from a different perspective on James Bond. Now, how many James Bond movies have you seen?
Oh. Including this one, I've seen 3.
Okay. And I showed you the other 2 in the last 6 months.
That's correct. No, in the last 2 years.
2 years, okay. So you've seen Casino Royale and Skyfall.
And the Daniel Craig Casino Royale.
Yes, not the Woody Allen one.
Or the CBS made-for-TV black and white movie.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and this is obviously the first time I've seen this movie, so I'm coming at it from a real different perspective.
The proper perspective, probably.
Well, I think I'm just watching it. Like, I have no kind of emotional, historical connection to it. I'm just watching it as a movie, and that was interesting.
How did it hold up against that criteria? Is this a movie?
On paper.
It's on film.
Yeah. Being younger, I don't think it occurs to you how old Roger Moore is.
57. He's 50.
He celebrated his 57th birthday during the filming of this movie.
He doesn't look a day over 56, though. It's incredible. He's looking good.
He seems older than 57. Because here's the reality is, if you had been like, isn't it crazy he's 68 in this movie? I would have been like, yeah. And if you had then been like, isn't it weird he's 73 in this movie? I'd be like, I believe that as well. That's how bad he looks.
Well, it's crazy.
For his 57 years.
You think about Tom Cruise hanging off of a skyscraper and he's 50 years old.
Yeah, Liam Neeson is kind of like kicking ass all over the place, and he's, I don't know what, like a very old age at this point. He's like fighting wolves, and he's well into his 60s, I believe.
Well, and the fights are slow.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they're so slow that, like, you're like...
They're age appropriate.
Yeah, they really... Taken should look like this, by all intents and purposes.
Taken 2, there are some pretty slow fights.
If that movie's taken, this movie's just given.
Jason, where do you fall? I'm sorry, just to get us all on the same page, where do you fall in the James Bond? Like, were you a James Bond fan?
I was a medium James Bond fan, not super into James Bond, but I certainly watched, like, my first James Bond, I'm older, I believe was Moonraker. That was the first one that I remember being like, oh yeah, I'm into this. Yeah. This is cool.
He's only 54.
Yeah. Exactly.
Moonraker, in case you don't know, is James Bond in outer space.
Yep. I was like, I'm on board for this. And then I watched some of the Sean Connery ones because they were always on TV. I thought they were fine. I hated Timothy Dalton.
I agree.
I was the kid who was the nerdy kid who was like, well, if they had let him out of his Remington Steel contract, Pierce Brosnan would be the perfect
I was
James
also
Bond.
on board.
Me too.
I will go on. I'm not
his James Bond then eventually though is terrible.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, because by the time he got there, he was almost 57.
So, too old.
By the time they let him out of that Remington Steel contract.
Yep. Just think of what we could have had. We could have had young Pierce Brosnan as Bond, and we could have had young Tom Selleck as Indiana Jones. If television executives had been smart.
Well, the beautiful thing about Pierce Brosnan is that he was walking out the door to the press conference to announce that he was James Bond because NBC had until that day to renew Remington Steele, and his phone rang. And NBC was like, "Oh, we're gonna pick it up. We got
good news,
half
Pierce."
a season." So he hangs up the phone and just puts his keys down.
That would be like if MacGyver was heading to set and they're like, "Hey, Indiana Jones is in the bag. Don't worry."
Wait, what? How is that like that?
Because Brosnan's Remington Steele was like if MacGyver was Indiana Jones. It's the poor man's James Bond. You know what I mean?
Okay. I don't see that. I've never seen Indiana Jones do anything with gum.
Well, you have a point there.
All right, let's get into this movie. The first thing that strikes me is I've seen every Bond film. This is the first one that, like, the title card comes up and goes, the name Zorin is not associated with anyone. This did not happen, which makes me go, did it?
Do you know why?
Like,
I can tell you why.
Oh, yeah.
Zorin, I think it was spelled like Z-O-R-A-N, was a like cosmetics manufacturer, and they're like, well, we can't get sued by a cosmetics manufacturer, so we have to label this.
I like knowing that Christopher Walken could have been misconstrued as a cosmetics manufacturer.
In this movie, he could have been.
Yeah, he could have been, by the way.
His business portfolio is so varied as to include microchips, horses,
Oil.
pipelines,
Blimps.
Obviously blimps.
Yes. Oh, and obviously airships.
And by the way, there are multiple blimps in this movie.
Yes.
There's just not one blimp.
This
There are
movie
two.
is drowning in blimps.
To the point where Paul and I watched the movie together, and I feel like about 45 minutes in, we had about a 15-minute discussion just about blimps. While the movie was playing, like, so how do blimps work exactly? It's really a giant balloon.
June was like,
isn't it?
I would be scared to go in a blimp.
I'm glad to hear that you guys watched together. This is a movie for lovers.
Like that Matthew McConaughey quote from Dazed and Confused, the girls keep on getting younger, but he stays the same age. And I feel like, or something, I know it bastardized.
By the way, fucking total McConaughey right there.
Thank you.
Nailed it.
Fucking
I need
eyes were
to
closed.
buy a Lincoln.
People on the podcast were just like, holy shit, McConaughey's there.
All right. They make no attempt to make the girls age appropriate in this movie, even by like going, they're in their 30s. Like they are all young, and he looks like he can be the father.
Well, this is the one where his story is why he hung it up after this one is because he was literally older than Tanya Roberts' mother at this point. And they talked about it on set, and I think that's when he finally went, I'm done. But now they just announced one of the new Bond girls is Monica Bellucci, and she's 50 years old, and it's fantastic. She's, I think, 3 years older than Daniel Craig, and the oldest Bond girl by far, and so it just shows you how times have changed. It's great.
Gross, won't see.
All right, guys, did you know? According to this movie,
Her
James
name is
Bond
Mena.
invents
Menopause. Right? What?
So the opening.
Hot Flash.
That's her character name.
Yeah, these are all character names.
Yeah.
Menopause and Hot Flash.
By the way, this movie has the laziest name of like all the Bond girls have like these like kind of like punny names, and the girl's name is Jenny Flex.
What does that mean?
It's like they were literally out of names, so they were like, fuck, Mayday?
She's flexible in bed. Pussy galore to Jenny Flex.
Well, that's coming off the heels of Octopussy.
Yeah. So yeah, they really were hitting the bottom. So James Bond opens up in a snow scene, and where he invents snowboarding.
Yep, he sure does.
These people know.
Yeah.
These people understand and they appreciate.
I felt like this opening scene is like as if they were like, well, let's just let Warren Miller direct this. Because it's all like half-assed shredding guitar to like terrible ski footage.
But it's also
Wait, not shredding guitar. They put the fucking Beach Boys.
No,
it's not.
They put like a
It's not
re-recorded
even
version of
But
it.
it's not even David Lee Roth's cover.
No.
It's some other shittier version
They
of that.
paid for the cheap rights to a Beach Boys song. but
Here, I'm
then
going to play you
re-recorded it.
what it sounds like.
The
exactly.
reveal is amazing when it changes because first he's skiing and that's when it's electric guitar.
Well, then he
and
blows up a snowmobile.
with a flare.
and one of the tracks
Skis? Yeah.
or he skis off the snowmobile lands next to him,
And he invents
Next thing
the
you
X
know-
Games.
Here we go.
He looks at it like, dink. And
the future of youth.
Here we go. Up, there he goes, snowboarding.
Those KGB guys are like, what is he doing?
The transition into the score is really awkward too. Watch this.
I really want it to be like a ski movie, like, look who decided to drop it.
Here's what's weird about it too. It's as though him snowboarding makes them forget how to ski.
Across the water! He's fucking Jesus!
And then right back.
And he runs.
Right back into
But
it.
it's important to note that this entire cold open is filmed in Iceland, set in Siberia, and Roger Moore never set foot in snow. All of his scenes were filmed at Pinewood Studios in England.
So everything green screen.
Anytime you see a man doing something, it's not him.
Well, all the
When he even walks across the room, it's a stuntman at this point.
That's what his wife wrote in his divorce papers.
this movie has aggressively recognizable stuntmen in it.
Oh
yeah.
It's like that's just another man.
Well,
Visibly much shorter and stockier.
this is, we'll put this up on the website, but that's
What is-
Tanya Roberts' stunt double. A grizzled man.
It looks like the killer
Wait,
Bob
what?
from Twin Peaks.
He's wearing a blonde wig. I have never seen a more disturbing image.
It is rare that we get a James Bond surprise, and that was really something.
And you can see if you can. This is the clip that we have from the movie. You can actually see Tanya Roberts.
Oh, hey, gorgeous. What's going on?
Only gets to drive the
And
truck
here's the
in custody.
reveal.
We'll handle the truck tonight.
That's that mix of Grace Jones and Tanya Roberts that I was looking for. I found it.
So the first scene is he escapes. This is like when James Bond is like past cheeky. Like it's like an iceberg submarine. He jumps into an iceberg submarine
That
with a
looks like
British
a
flag.
dick.
Yeah.
That is in the shape of a straight up dick.
And it does not seem to me like a military vessel. It just seems like a fuck ship.
No, it is absolutely a fuck ship. There is no need for the plush, like, comforter on the bed that comes up.
Yeah. On one side, it's like full-on submarine. Like, I'm looking at dials, I'm looking at cameras. Boop, boop, boop. Super hot girl in there, of course. And then he just like presses a button, the bed comes up. But oddly, all the remotes for the submarine are also on his side. So he can kind of like
You're
rock her
describing
out
a
of her
fuck ship.
seat. He rocks her.
I'm sad there wasn't a scene where Q explained to him like the fuck ship potential of it, where he was like,
Now pay attention,
I'm
007.
giving you this sub 007 so you can be massed within the iceberg, but also it's a fuck ship. Here you go. This button here raises the bed, and this is a vibrating fuck ship button. This
If you-
ejects dildos out of everything. And
Click this 3 times, it'll sterilize her.
And then Bond is like, are there condoms in here somewhere? And he's like, of course not. You never use condoms. You're James Bond. You're giving AIDS to everyone.
Well, also when he makes the move for the ship to sort of tussle a bit, and she falls on top of him. It's a strange moment because I was more worried for him. I really was. Like, oh, his bones, and like he's not.
Oh, that's so true.
He's not well. So weird.
Also
That just
reveal.
hit my heart in a major way right now.
I was like, oh no, but there's an old man in there. Be careful. Please be careful. Seriously.
Oh, young woman, don't crush the brittle man.
Yeah, be careful. Really.
I would have actually liked to see that sex scene play out because it would have been so awkward and.
A
Oh,
lot of just like, I'm so sorry.
This never happened.
You
don't
can keep
want
trying,
to.
but it's not going to work.
He also like when he lands like in the ship, like he's flirting with the girl, of course, and he knew all along James Bond was on this mission. He had the tiniest of backpacks, kind of like Indiana Jones's satchel, like about that on his back, and he uses it to pack a giant thing of beluga caviar. Now, as an adult, I know that was like thousands of dollars. Like the smallest ones are hundreds. Like this is like a cheese wheel of caviar, and a bottle of vodka was in his backpack the entire time. It doesn't seem appealing to me, like a giant, like what are they guys going to do? Like
all the way back to England.
He's going to
Straight vodka and eat caviar.
Yeah, and he's going to fuck that girl.
Yeah, because
That's
it's a
what
fuck
Bond
ship.
does as a near 60-year-old man.
But I just picture them like scooping out caviar with their hands, fucking.
They're like, did you pack
vodka.
utensils? No. Put it on my dick.
It sterilizes it. You won't get pregnant.
I want to eat eggs tonight.
Well, and I do think that's sort of the overall vibe that I walked away from the movie with, which wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm rooting for this guy and I want to see him go on like all these crazy journeys. It was more like, oh, he has a problem, and like he really has to be careful because this could totally get out of hand. Like, it's a subtle
like Mr.
thing,
Magoo?
but it's like, yeah, like with the vodka and stuff. When he pulled the vodka out, I felt like, oh, that's a really big bottle of vodka.
For example,
person, like,
were you worried that he might not be able to sustain like the temperatures of the hot tub that he found himself in? Did that concern you at all? Like,
Yes.
ooh, no, at his
Yes.
age, his body temperature should not be up where it is at this point.
yeah.
Hey, everybody. Do you want to read, but you don't have the time? Yeah, me too. Well, let me tell you, there is someone coming in to save the day. Their name is Audible. Now, I am a user of Audible. How did I find out about Audible? Listening to podcasts, because these guys sponsor the hell out of podcasts. And you know why? Because they're fucking good. They have over 150,000 titles to choose from. Fiction, nonfiction, bestsellers, non-bestsellers, every category imaginable. And unlike a streaming service, you actually own what you buy. The app is really easy to use, and you could just click into it. I love WhisperSync because I could be reading a book at home, and then in my car, it just picks up where I left off. It's so great. You can access your books at any time because you own them. So what I'm telling you is this. Why don't you just try it? It's easy to get around. See if you like it. Go to audiblepodcast.com/how for a free 30-day trial. All right, go to audiblepodcast.com/how for a free audiobook and trial, and let them know that we sent you. Because when you do, that actually helps us. It helps us keep the lights on. I love it all. You guys are the best. So get Audible today. You'll love it. I'll love you for loving them. And we'll get smarter together. Well, this brings us to, now that's the opening sequence, of course, and then the main plot begins. And I was watching.
Well,
plot
first
is
there's a Duran
that?
Duran song.
Well, yeah, the Duran Duran song. Do you got anyone have any comments?
It's the best.
It's awesome.
Best.
The best song. I mean,
really
one
is.
of my that and Live and Let Die are my two favorite.
Great.
Bond
It's the
songs.
only Bond song to ever become a #1 hit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Even
The
after
only one.
Skyfall?
Yeah.
Wow.
Fucking experts.
Yeah, you guys really brought the heat.
Tuxedos.
We get to the main plot, and June, you asked me this question numerous times, which was, what's happening? What's going on? I don't understand what's happening. What's going on?
We replayed multiple scenes. I mean, I feel like I
Rewind
spent
that.
4
I need
hours
to watch
watching
it
this
again.
movie.
It was said a
Yes.
million
Which is
times.
tough because this movie is fucking long.
Yeah.
So to even imagine watching scenes more than once,
And I did it a number of times.
I said to June last night at the end of the movie, I said, Actually, I think this I said for a long movie, it's paced really good.
Oh, God.
To what you said.
I'm with you. I'm afraid to admit this. This is the James Bond movie I've seen the most times.
I think me too.
Because I have this thing where I like my James Bond movies really good or really bad, and this movie is as bad as the best Bond movies are good. And I
agree with that.
The movie opens, and there's a scene after the Duran Duran song plays. We go back to MI6. And I would like to have been in the room for God knows how long while the senile guy from Q Branch drove his little creature around.
Like, there's a
in front of the fucking Prime Minister of England.
There's a robot dog in this movie.
That has no reason to be in there except for the end of the movie joke.
Okay,
Well, it comes
basically.
back, but it's also like, this is an advanced spying technique. No, it's a cumbersome, weird-looking robot dog that anyone would be like, what the fuck is that robot dog doing in here? He's not like, it was not subtle, it was not sneaky.
It could not have looked like a more unnatural object.
It was a cumbersome children's toy at best.
It was something that, as a kid, a 13-year-old, I'm certain I was like, ooh, I want that. But not for spying.
for friendship.
Yeah.
I want a little buddy.
No reason for that. And it wasn't like, like a bomb-sniffing robot, like they also are cumbersome, but they also have like arms that come out and disconnect bombs. This seemingly had no arms.
All this
it just acted like a dog.
This
Doesn't need
does is record pornography for Q.
This is the little astromech droid for your fuck ship.
It's like the little droid in the Death Star that's a black box that just rolls around. That robot, 8 years earlier, is way more interesting than this robot is in this movie.
Like that's all that robot did, seemingly.
Yeah, but it was black.
Yeah,
so it blended in.
Now, the scene in Paris, they go to the racetrack, I guess, first. I didn't even write down any notes.
Oh,
about
Oh,
the
right.
racetrack.
How could you not? Because the first hour of this movie is about racehorses.
Oh, does that figure into the main plot of the movie?
Oh, no, Paul. Not at all.
I still fail to see a problem.
Yeah, this is where we have I think, the closest we can get to a British off in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so this is something you guys do on your podcast.
On our podcast, we like to determine the scene which has the most British person in it.
In a sea of British people.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to give it to McClory. I mean, not McClory. What's his name? Tibbet?
Oh, Patrick McNee.
Patrick McGee.
Yeah, McNee.
Right?
Patrick McNee.
McNee.
From the Avengers.
You're saying no, he's not the most British person? Who do you think is more British than him?
I somehow think
Disagree.
the French guy in the Eiffel Tower is somehow more British. because
the French
he's
guy
so
in the
French.
the French guy in the Eiffel Tower is such a caricature. I'm
Yes.
like, what is he? I don't even know what he does. I don't even understand what information they got out of
We're
it.
skipping over the part where Bond presupposes, he lays out the plot for you and says, well, it could be this Zorin. And the Prime Minister of England goes, that's impossible. He's a French industrialist.
Yeah, and they've never been associated with communism, the French, or anything.
He's staunchly anti-communist, he says.
Yes.
But yeah, nobody's like, it's Christopher Walken. He's definitely going to be the bad guy.
And M says to Bond that he has no accent. What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, he doesn't have a French accent.
Well, he's supposed to be German, I thought. Isn't he supposed to be German?
But wouldn't he say
What?
he's got a weird American accent,
Yeah.
James? Figure that out?
He's got a weird way of talking, almost as if he's taking the punctuation. I'm okay. Oh, boy.
You've been walking.
You know what I'm talking about.
I do want to get to the French scene because obviously the most French man in the world, who looks like he was drawn out of like the triplets of Belleville, like shoveling. I feel like he should have been, like his sweat should have been escargot. Just like,
He ends every sentence with no.
And then he's like, since your parents are
and they're meeting in the Eiffel Tower.
In a restaurant that does not exist.
we need to figure out how to make this guy more French. What do we do? Where
What
can we
if
put
it's
him?
like the fanciest restaurant in the world in the middle of the Eiffel Tower? Fuck yes.
But this guy, we should get him to have a real French stinky mustache, right?
Oh, and then he's killed by butterflies.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about the butterflies.
This sequence, June, take it away because this is one of my favorite. Go, take it away because this is my favorite sequence.
I have so much to say about the butterflies.
Ooh, yeah.
Well,
Go.
I first wanted. I don't know, and so this is a genuine query. Is that like a cultural or some sort? Is the butterfly dance a thing?
I can.
Is that,
I'm gonna answer this.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. That woman had an act where she would do this like papillon, flight of the papillon, no, and that she was somehow known for that. And like the way Bond movies work is the producers will just be out at weird places and go, "Oh, that's strange. Let's put that in our next movie. Let's build our movie
here's
around
what's
that."
interesting about the act: the butterflies aren't real.
No.
So it would be interesting if her act was like, oh, she's actually summoning butterflies, like some sort of strange
Like some sort of
snake
How would you
charm.
do
Master
that?
or something.
I don't know.
that's
I don't
Tanya
know.
Roberts.
No.
Animal woman.
Jason's right,
I
June.
don't know. It would
Let's
be
conjecture
interesting,
that.
though. That would be sort of this weird, like, vaudeville. Like, I'd watch that.
Oh, trained butterflies? I'd wager to say everyone would watch that.
Okay, fine. The way it's portrayed in this film, the butterflies are just fake butterflies that she's pretending to call in. With there's no dance moves.
I think she
There's
does
no-
turn on a fan with her foot.
fine,
No,
but
she
I guess
just
what
whistles.
I'm saying is there's no act.
No,
there's
there's none.
just here's a bunch of butterflies floating around the audience, and she's standing up there just opening her arms.
It's
and
the
going,
equivalent of like that part of Blue Man Group where the toilet paper goes over the audience. You're like blown away, but they're just throwing shit at
and
you.
that's the whole act.
You
And it-
summed up this entire movie.
It was just
Also, I
very
do.
strange.
When Mayday is trying to take the place of the other butterfly
I have
wrangler,
so many-
the other butterfly wrangler is fighting it so hard. Like, no, I have to stand here. This is my butterfly purse. Do not fuck with this.
So what we're describing is when the woman is whistling and doing her butterfly conjuring, there are
which
people
just
in like
consists
ninja suits.
of her opening her arms.
Yes, and going like
Yeah.
as if she's
So
conducting a symphony of butterflies.
And it is then someone's job
Right.
to stand in the wings with a fishing pole
Yep.
where a fake butterfly is attached and swung past diners.
How would you otherwise do it, you assholes? That's how you do it.
Well, June has
I
it right.
offered a few suggestions.
You would get butterflies in
Train
a
them.
caterpillar stage. You would
So they
train
know
them.
you from
Get them
birth.
early.
You would train them. They would go into a cocoon. They would emerge glorious, already trusting you so they do not fly away.
And then you rehearse.
And then then the real work starts.
Let me just say something. Excuse me. Let me just say something about that. Those butterflies have no choice in performing that act. You know what? And that is animal cruelty.
Wow.
And they do
Hey,
not belong
as
there.
long
June,
as-
are you with me on
As
this?
long as the butterflies are credited correctly.
You just don't want a butterfly shine on your hands.
June, I would think that this butterfly puppetry would appeal to you on the level of the animal cruelty. By the way, you got to, well, we'll get to the horse stuff.
Well, this woman, you can rest assured, is the Temple Grandin of butterfly puppetry. She takes the best steps to
Here's my issue. Here's my issue also with Grace Jones in this movie.
What?
She is the most recognizable person in the world. She is a giant woman with a bizarre hairstyle.
Yep.
And you send her out to be like your clutch guy.
Your undercover assassin?
Yeah, there's a part where
Is-
James Bond goes like, I wanted to like get my eyes on her so I wanted to identify her. It's like, once you see her face, you'd be like, yeah, I could pick her out of any lineup.
Yeah.
Any lineup.
She's the poor man's Wesley Snipes.
I think Wesley Snipes is once again the poor man's Wesley Snipes.
You have a fair
No,
point.
he's rich. He didn't pay taxes. He's the rich man's Wesley Snipes.
Here's what's interesting though about how Mayday how she assassinates that guy. So the
She really swings that thing.
She comes in
Okay,
with a
but-
fishing pole.
no. Does she come in with a fishing
Yes.
pole? Or is
Yeah,
the
she
fishing
brings
pole
her
right
own
there?
fishing
Okay.
pole. She brought
her
But
own.
I guess my question is, why not already set yourself there?
Okay.
And
Yeah,
then you
of
wouldn't
course.
have the fight with
And then
the
you
other.
don't have to like was
What
she
the
like-
karate fight?
Well, what happened? Because what must happen is the guy has his fishing pole full of butterflies over the audience. The minute she knocks him up, all those butterflies must just fall to the ground. But yet nobody seems to notice that.
Nope.
No, and the butterflies start going erratically around, and no one's like, "What the fuck?"
Well, I think she's just trying to draw enough centrifugal force to lodge the hook into the guy's neck.
Again, everything about this plan is terrible.
Okay, can I just say one more thing about the butterfly
Yes.
show? The people are watching it. The people are watching it as though they're real butterflies.
I do every time.
People are watching the show
So
and
do you think
enjoying
they
it as
think they're
though,
real butterflies?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm just saying it's very confusing because the show is not a show. I mean, nothing's happening. And they're watching it with such awe and delight.
You
As
could
though
do a
she's really
full.
calling in butterflies.
You could do a full. How did this get made about the butterfly show?
We are currently
We just
doing
did.
It's been a
I have
lot.
great news,
We're
Matt.
not on the third scene yet of the main plot. I will.
of a movie that isn't 7 hours long.
We
We're
haven't
in
yet.
minute 11.
we haven't even met the villain
We
yet.
haven't even jumped off the Eiffel Tower.
The female lead of the movie doesn't arrive until 1 hour and 11 minutes.
I just want to quickly just hit two things about this butterfly thing. This is a terrible plan. If they want to kill this guy, shoot him, stab him, poison
Even
his
by the way,
drink.
even shoot him from the same stance you're at.
Where's
The butterfly
Where's the
party.
art in that? Where's the art? Where's the beauty? Where's the butterfly dance of death? You know?
And by the way, like the butterfly, I'm guessing because we're not told this by anyone.
You have to infer.
Was there poison on the hook?
Yeah.
Because the minute it hits him,
Well-
it's like, good, he dies. Like,
There's a
it's not
fly
like
in his
there's
soup.
That's what he says.
Yeah,
Bond,
James.
the guy dies instantly into his plate like a fucking asshole. And Bond is like, there's a fly in his soup. And then like takes off running after Grace Jones.
And the problem is, it would seem artful if they were like in the wings somewhere. If the butterfly puppeteer was like in the dark behind
Okay, so
the
you
blacks.
also don't like how the fake butterflies
All I'm saying
are
is
presented.
the fake butterflies. The guy who's
Is
in
this a
all
review
black,
of the butterfly show?
the guy who's in all black is
Is this
the
a
stage
critical
man,
look at the butterfly
puppeteering
show
the butterflies.
itself,
He is-
regardless of its content in the movie?
He is in full
This
view of
reviewer
the
found
audience.
this show to be preposterous.
I
By
think
the way-
you guys are missing the Kubrickian levels of interpretation that you need to bring to this movie.
We're gonna room 237 this shit.
Yeah.
This podcast will be longer than the movie.
I
do
believe
that
you're
all
right.
the
The
time.
butterflies are the answer, though.
Yeah.
I will say that. Oh my gosh!
There's a
The
car that
butterfly
gets-
is the same color as her parachute.
So her plan, but here's the thing: she stabs him. Her plan was always to run up to the top of the Eiffel Tower and jump off, because that's the only reason why she'd be wearing a parachute. She didn't ever think that this plan was going to go over smoothly. She's always like, "Fuck, I gotta run up and do the most audacious exit of all time." Jumping off the Eiffel Tower with a parachute, where everyone go, "Oh yeah, that's her. That's the murderer. That's the one."
And your plan is to land in an open-top speedboat with the most famous French industrialist in Paris.
Who? Like, why would you drive the fucking boat? Stay in.
Send your guy with the scar on his face.
There's so many people who could have done that
And
job.
then they one up their own most French guy with the drunk taxi driver who's just sitting drinking wine, and all he
love
says
that guy.
after his car is stolen is "Mika!"
my car! The plane!
The best thing ever, I believe, in any James Bond movie is what happens here, which is James Bond, while he is driving this car, it's getting cut in various cars. The top's off, the back's off. But then a car just kind of like
Taps
T-bones
it. Taps it.
Taps it. and it splits in half like a Yogi Bear cartoon. I was expecting his James Bond's feet to come out like Flintstones.
I can't imagine whatever car company that was happy with that.
Also, that's to presume that it's a front-wheel drive car. Because once the back is off the car, you shouldn't be able to drive that car anymore.
And he doesn't just drive it for a couple feet. Seems like he drives it for like another half a mile.
At least.
And he parks it.
He literally just almost parallel parks the thing.
Yep.
Then runs onto a boat, ruins a wedding where chefs are going to murder him with a giant butcher knife.
And we find out that he cost
6 million francs.
6 million francs. And that is still not before main plot has introduced.
June,
no.
June, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I feel like you're not done talking about the
No,
butterflies.
I'm not. I think you know I'm not. I guess I'm trying to imagine, like, I'm in this restaurant.
Pretty good.
Put yourself there. Put
Yeah,
yourself
I
there.
see a woman.
Go with it.
I'm there
I see
too.
a woman come on stage.
Have you come for her, or is this a surprise
I think I've
show to
heard
you?
about it.
You've heard about it, yeah.
Now, June, what did you hear? Did you hear, go see this amazing butterfly show?
Honestly, I think I did.
Yeah.
I think I heard that it was this crazy butterfly act.
have to go
and
to
I
the
was
Papillon.
like, I gotta go see it.
So
What's going on
you're
with
under
these
the impression
butterflies?
you're going to see some live butterflies because you're a fan. Like going to the Central Park Zoo or something.
I assume it's going to be something crazy with butterflies. I'm shocked to realize all the butterflies are fake. They're on fishing wire. And
Some
I can
are. Some
see-
are-
No, Paul.
No, the ones that come out of the front look like they were coming out of like an air vent.
Yeah, it's a mix.
It's okay.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
If it's a mix, you're saying that some are just being fanned up.
Yeah, I
and then
believe
where
so.
do they fall?
They fall back
all
into the fan.
over, June. They just fall in front of the stage.
Okay, I guess my problem is, as an audience member, I'm also seeing a man up there dressed in all black,
No,
a
you can
stagehand.
ignore him.
And is that-
June.
How can I ignore him?
You're seeing him and
How
you're
can I
looking.
ignore him? He's
You shouldn't
full
ignore
light.
him.
Participate in the
willing
ephemeral
suspension
nature
of
of
disbelief.
love.
I'm trying to. I'm game. I want to suspend my disbelief. But I see a man in all
We're
black
in Paris, June.
cheering the
You're
butterflies.
wearing this shirt.
Okay, fine.
It makes sense.
Do you ask for your money back?
Here's what I expect. If the butterflies aren't going to be real, and I think this is what I've been trying to
Wait,
get at.
you are
If the
expecting
butterflies are not going to be real, then I would expect the butterfly dance to be the thing that I'm
You have a
here to
point
see.
there. Yeah.
Thank you. I expect if the butterflies are all fake, okay, I get it. I'm not going to watch like a crazy trick. What I am going to see is an art form.
Yeah, come for the butterfly, stay for the dance, but there's no dance.
There's no dance and there's no song. And that I have a problem with.
So, June, on Yelp, what are you giving it?
0 stars.
Whoa!
Wow.
You don't even like the food?
Yeah.
I'm just looking to
Have
see
you
if
found the papillon, Paul?
I'm looking. I have not seen much research on this butterfly lady. I mean, here's an image of it from the movie. But they don't really have much information on this butterfly act. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Not
You
a
guys
lot
are going to have to do your own work at home later.
to find out more about the butterfly act.
I think, this is one of those things I'm not surprised to hear it was real. I feel like I'm disappointed that in that instance there wasn't like a scene in a Bond film where like Moominshans were part of it.
Or Shields and Yarnell.
It seems akin to like a mime act,
Yeah.
this butterfly thing,
Yeah. I think just because it was foreign, that was enough for them. It felt global or something.
I also like how it's announced with a guitar and then there's no guitar on stage.
Yeah. That's right, like a flamenco guitar.
Guys, you know what's good? Free snacks. That's right. Our friends at NatureBox are giving you a chance to get some free snacks. Not only that, but these snacks are better than whatever you're getting at the vending machine. I swear to God. And snacking is so good. I won't deny it. I love snacking. Okay, NatureBox keeps it great with snacks that don't have artificial flavors, colors, or sweeteners, and zero trans fat. I don't know anything about healthy stuff, but I know when it's zero trans fat, it's good. Also, no high fructose corn syrup. I know that's good too. So if you get cranky because you're hungry, just grab grab a peanut butter num num from Nature Box, or those baked sweet potato fries, or dried pears, or how about those dark cocoa almonds, okay? But hey, look, it doesn't have to be just about beating the afternoon slump. Treat yourself to these smart snacks anyway. Keep them in your cupboard. I do. Sometimes I'm watching a movie. I grab these snacks. I eat them on the go. Sometimes I'm out driving my car. Put these snacks in my car. Sometimes I have kids over my house. And they're like, I'm hungry. And their mom's like, don't give my kid some disgusting snack. I go, chill out, Mom. I know what to do. I'm a parent now. And I throw these snacks at them, and they love them. So go to naturebox.com/how, try NatureBox for free, and you'll get a trial box of 5 snacks. That's right. You heard me right. 5 free snacks. So whether it's for your home, your office, or stockpiling for when the zombie apocalypse comes, go to naturebox.com/how and get started today. Hey, everybody, let me tell you about a great new podcast. Southern California Public Radio, right here in LA, is teaming up with Vulture.com to bring you a new daily podcast program on the arts, culture, and creativity. Now, I love Vulture.com. I love KPCC. They're amazing. And their new show, The Frame, is available in iTunes and on Stitcher right now. You can find more at theframe.org. So I'm asking you to subscribe to them. Go to The Frame in iTunes or just listen on Stitcher. I think you're going to love it. If you like our show, you're going to love it. You can get it every day. Every single day. And they're going to cover all the cool topics, all the new movies. They'll be discussing movies like Rosewater and Foxcatcher and Birdman. And the very funny Margaret Lyons gives you advice on all of your pressing questions about what to be watching on TV today. So if you're a fan of pop culture, media, all that kind of good stuff, listen into The Frame. Do you know, now this is interesting, we're going to talk, James Bond eventually meets up with the villain. Now,
Eventually.
it's not just the butterfly movie. This podcast might make you believe this movie takes primarily place in the third scene of the movie. It does not. Apparently, it was announced that David Bowie was going to be playing Max Zorin. And then, after it was announced, he turned it down because he didn't want to spend 5 months watching his stunt double fall off cliffs. And then the role was offered to Sting.
It was written
He said no.
with Sting in mind.
Oh, really?
Offered to David Bowie.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Then went to Rutger Hauer.
That's right, yeah.
And then finally Christopher Walken.
Yeah. But this plot is basically Goldfinger revisited, but the original version of the script was, instead of the Silicon Valley earthquake, he was going to redirect Halley's Comet down into Silicon Valley.
Which was deemed too unbelievable.
Can you believe that?
What? That's awesome.
Wow.
That would have
Can we just start at the horses and can you take me through the plot?
Well,
No,
yeah.
I can't.
The horses.
I would rather if you took us through the plot.
I can't.
So explain.
I really can't.
You're being forced. A gun is to your head. Someone's like, I need to know the
a
plot.
sharp butterfly is to your neck.
I need to know.
Oh,
Just
God.
right now, just go. I need to explain. Explain the plot in a paragraph or less. So here we go. Go. That's the evil plan. Just the evil plan.
Well, I know the evil plan is to blow up Silicon Valley to get a monopoly over the microchip industry.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, so the
It
horses.
just sounds insane. Especially because of how much time is
Okay,
spent
and by the way,
on horses.
what I don't understand still is what the sort of global why there was that summit of all the leaders.
bad guys.
I really don't. Oh, were they bad guys?
Well, industrialists.
I think they're the people that are going to profit from the lack of microchip competition.
Why are there so many of them?
I think why are there so few of them?
Okay, where I get lost is in the horses of it all.
Because a lot of this movie is about horses.
I'm gonna. All right. So the plot of this movie is that he wants to flood Silicon Valley to disrupt the microchip production so he could own all the microchips. I'd like to show you what Roger Ebert's problem was with this film.
Oh, this is delightful.
Amazing research here by our amazing. She pulls all these amazing clips. Avril Halley. She does it all. So here we go.
Good job, Abel.
How stupid can you get? Anyway, Walken's plan is to corner the market on computer chips by destroying all of the computer firms in California's Silicon Valley. But unfortunately, he has overlooked one basic fact. The computer manufacturers in Silicon Valley are the purchasers of computer chips, which they put into their computers. They are not the manufacturers, who are basically in Japan. So he isn't killing the competition, he's killing his own customers. A real Bond villain would never make a mistake like that.
Roger Ebert laying down the law.
Hilarious.
Matt Myra offering a salute to Roger Ebert.
Well
Roger
done,
Ebert,
Roger
the
Ebert.
most nerdy response to why this movie doesn't work.
Why I saluted him was because I was going to say that. It does not. There's no manufacturing in there. You're just killing all the companies that make the shit that needs the chips.
Right.
So the genius, the engineered by horse steroids in his mother's stomach genius, that is Max Zorin, is just destroying all of the people that would be buying his bullshit.
Do you think that they know that? Do you think that that's just how crazy he is? That his whole plan, he doesn't even see the folly in it. It's just an exercise for him?
That is true.
Perhaps.
He did his big thing. There's a line. I'm going to jump all the way to almost the end of the movie just for this line. He does say to his crazy German doctor father, monocle guy.
That may be the most British guy, even not from being
Yes.
British.
Yeah.
Crazy German
He does
doctor
say to
father.
him, imagine the largest cataclysm ever to occur on the Earth. And then the other guy goes, and everyone will think it was natural. And then they're just so happy with that.
Yeah.
They're just so happy. They flooded a valley.
By the way, like Halley's Comet redirecting that to hit Silicon Valley makes so much more sense than what they're doing. It's like, okay, so there's horse tranquilizers that give horses super speed. We don't need to really worry about that. Then there's
we do need to worry about it, only for about 45 minutes. Then we're going to completely not need to worry.
That is in there just to show that they do genetic experiments, which somehow justifies why Max Zorin is hyper intelligent, hyper crazy.
There's a German doctor.
by the way,
there's a German doctor, so for sure there are genetic experiments.
yes, but by the way,
we know that.
He's not like hyper intelligent. Like he
No.
doesn't seem
Well, clearly.
super
He isn't.
smart to me.
He doesn't seem smarter than literally anyone in the movie.
Smart people don't own blimps.
Number one.
It's a T-shirt right there.
But yeah, he's not super smart. He's not super strong. Because even when he's fighting Grace Jones, she's kicking his ass.
But it's Grace Jones.
But as Q says, Grace is taking her vitamins.
But let me ask you
Because she
this.
can wrangle a horse.
How much training has the KGB given him? Because they're like, we built you, we engineered you, and if that's the case, they've done a shit job. Because he's not that strong, he's not that smart.
Yep.
He's just kind of like, he's got the kind of blondie good looks of a really evil guy.
He only took the business classes at the KGB. Like how to diversify your portfolio, how to pilot a blimp.
Every semester, he dropped world domination class.
Well, I
I
thought
don't
it
need that. I
was
just need this business
also
stuff.
weird that, I mean, I feel like in any other movie you'd as an audience member, you'd be with your two main characters as they were figuring out this evil plan. In this film, you find out about half an hour earlier what his evil plan is.
Yep.
And then you just watch them
Try to figure it out.
Which is annoying. Because we already know, and so it's not interesting at
And also-
all, and we're smarter than them.
And they basically show you like when Christopher Walken reveals his plan, he has a big map and everyone's looking at it. And then later on in the movie, there's a different map that they're looking at, and then that also
What I would love is a movie that follows the one guy that makes models and maps for supervillains. What do you need? Fort Knox? I got it.
I have to do a whole Eastern Seaboard for Zorin. Meanwhile, this guy's up my ass for an iceberg, a whole iceberg thing.
Now wait a second. You want this thing to come up from a table? I can do that. It's going to take 6 more weeks.
And you want
I only really need to use it once or twice.
Yeah.
I'm never
So
going
you
to
want
really talk about it again.
green lights to symbolize oil wells and red dots to symbolize fault lines? Done.
Well, hang
then
on.
they do
My
this-
cousin Jimmy does the dots. Hey, Jimmy!
How often are you going to use this? Are you going to have it on all the time? Or are you going to keep it closed, shut down with a sheet over it, hidden in a side room that maybe they'll come across eventually, but not in like the big room
If
where
you
put all
want
the bad
us, if
stuff?
you want us to build like a table that goes down, that's going to cost you a little bit extra. And I got to talk to my other cousin, Paul. Hey, we need another table that comes up.
Are you still working on that Death Star for that guy from outer space?
I only finished half of it. There's only one problem. If you get to this one hole, you can blow up the entire thing.
I'm sure it's fine.
All right, I'll
We
leave
have
it
no
be.
more time. He's very strict.
By the way, they do have the big map, this big expensive map, in like the construction room. They've really set up for a lot of construction there.
You guys were having a good time, but I still fail to see a flaw with this movie.
Here's something that's interesting. Again, that was found out for me by Nate. He is for an unknown reason, there are several inside jokes in the film that refer to the JFK assassination.
Yeah, this I think is some internet guy that just made these things up.
Oh, really? Okay.
They're stretches.
Zorn's main strike is scheduled for the 22nd, the same day as the Kennedy assassination.
Interesting.
Patrick McNee's character is murdered and named Sir Godfrey Tippett. A Dallas police officer, J.D. Tippett, was killed the same day as JFK.
Oh.
And the Texan who's named Connolly, Governor John Connolly, was also shot in the assassination. So, all right, maybe you're right. All right, so
We are still barely into this movie.
now Grace Jones' main nemesis so far in this movie 3 times has been James Bond.
Yep.
She's like, when he shows up at her house, I think I saw this guy. I don't know where it just been. Was it when I parachuted off the Eiffel Tower, landed in that thing, we stared at each other through the mirror for a second? Yeah, the glass window? I don't know. That was only yesterday. I don't know if that's the same guy. All right, I'm going to go back in here and do some more evil shit. Like, she does not fully recognize him.
Was she also a steroid baby?
No, it seemed to
She's
me
a steroid adult.
Yeah, it seemed to me she was just getting shots on the side.
Gotcha.
Wait, she's strong too because she wrangles a horse, she picks a man up over her head.
Yeah.
She
And
then,
that's a weird show of force.
Yeah.
Like, just punch him. You don't have to lift someone over your head like a baby.
That is true. That is asserting true dominance.
Do you know who's in the background of that
I
scene?
do indeed.
Her boyfriend, Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph Lundgren in the...
Boyfriend at the time.
guy
yeah.
in the front row got excited.
There he is. A young, attractive Dolph Lundgren right there. Hey.
All right, everybody, relax.
What, but
Everybody
June,
here just got wet.
June, I want to talk to you about the fight love scene between Christopher Walken and Grace Jones. Because as a child, I was disturbed by this. And as an adult, I'm disturbed by it.
I was
What's
awoken.
going on when she goes, she chomps her teeth like Iceman in Top Gun. And like a wild animal, like, "Arr!" And like, is that a game that they play, or does she not want to be mounted by the successful Max Zorin?
Good question, Paul. June?
Well, I think there is something going on. I can't remember if it's in this scene or an earlier scene with her. There's a moment where she gets super excited about something and she slaps herself in the face.
Yeah,
Is that scene or that's a separate?
that's earlier.
That's earlier. Yeah, she's strange.
Well, I mean,
I don't know what's going on with
Is
her.
she a
I think
horse
what's going
that
on
has been
is-
shaved down to be a human?
like the way they turn big carrots into baby carrots.
Yeah, because it would be described. It would really explain a lot if she was a horse. That
Wait,
was made
so
into
Well, I
a
didn't
human.
say-
that's the genetic testing he's now doing? He has made a horse baby a human?
It would explain the ornate hair.
I hated
animal noises.
I wanted to distance myself from this theory at first.
You know how
Now
the
I am on
Giger
board.
alien, if it's in a human, it comes out more humanoid. If it's in a dog, it comes out more like a dog.
Yeah.
She's like a Giger horse alien.
I think this is, guys, I'm just going to go on a limb here and say this is erotic foreplay.
Now we're
Okay,
talking.
then that's what it is.
They are just wrestling
Oh, yeah.
around until they get their juices flowing. And then, because he's like, you remember the phone rings and he's like, I told you not to disturb us.
Yeah.
Because they're clearly going to be like
That was
bone
sex
zoning
time.
Yeah.
all over the place
Yeah.
once they get out of those geese.
Oh yeah, they're just in the. They're in their larval stage right now. and
They're going to
ready
be beautiful
pop.
He
butterflies.
was 4 minutes from
yeah.
dipping his dick in some caviar.
Is that a
That's how
euphemism?
they have sex in this movie, right?
Yep.
But in the next scene, in the very next scene, like James Bond's plan, because he's figuring out the thing about the horses, which makes no difference in the movie. Who cares?
But James Bond
yeah.
immediately knows exactly what the steroid is and how it's delivered just by looking at it.
I guess fucking makes you smart.
There's a presumption, and James Bonding, Matt, I'm going to put this to you because you are the experts. There's a presumption in this movie, and I believe all of these movies, that an enormous part of spying is just sport fucking the enemy.
Well, I mean, this movie. This
is
movie, I think he has
exactly
the
right.
most sex he ever has, right? I mean,
He
this-
fucks everybody, and everybody fucks him, and all of it is in service of spying.
Well, he
Welcome,
does- yeah,
welcome
he
to
does.
the real life of Cold War espionage. That's
that
how
it?
went. That's how the wall came down in Berlin. It was fucked.
fucked it down?
Yeah, they fucked it down. Yeah.
He does fuck. he
Mr.
does
Gorbachev, fuck
Fuck
this
down
wall
this
down.
He fucks 4 different females.
This
in
is
this movie.
this is
the
a-
most sex.
This is the most Roger Moore had ever.
at almost the height
Hot
of the
Tub
AIDS
Girl.
crisis.
Yeah.
Hot Tub Girl, Submarine Girl,
Grace
Tanya
Jones.
Roberts, Grace Jones, and that's about it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's 4.
wow, that's a lot. A lot of ladies. Oh, but all right.
Does
So
he have
basically,
sex
he
with
hides
Tanya
out.
Roberts, though?
What? Well, they're in the shower and then they go down.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're in the shower.
Yeah.
They're not
But-
showering together to get each other clean.
Oh, that's what I thought.
maybe they
That's what
are.
I thought.
Well, then, but he also is like her father. He acts like her father the entire time.
She
I
may
have a
just be
big
bathing
problem.
him to like take care of him. You know.
He's got a bed sore.
She got in the
Go
shower
one
to
of
help
those
him out
chairs.
of the shower.
Let's go one of those shower chairs.
That's what that little droid is. He's
Scrubbing his taint.
The saddest thing, it's really a strange,
Scrubbing his taint. Come on, man.
disgusting.
Please
It
clarify
would
with
need
the
to
last
be
name.
done, Jason.
There's a really disturbing scene where I know we're jumping ahead, but where Tanya Roberts is in like this very childlike bed. It's like the room
Yeah,
kind of has a
canopy
pink
bed.
It's like a
hue, the
twin
canopy.
bed.
Oh, you
Yeah.
mean
It's a small
her
bed.
childhood bedroom?
her childhood bedroom,
There's a dollhouse
which
in
has
there,
been
right?
preserved, and she has had this horrible thing happen that day where there's
You mean
an
a home
attempt at
invasion?
her life.
A full home invasion
Hours
by the
earlier.
whippiest guys.
4
in their life.
guys,
Okay.
one of them with the worst toupee you've ever seen in your life.
By the way, all the guys that James Bond fights in this movie are also equally old.
Yeah.
Like they always there's any old guys out there.
Because it's the stunt crew that had been working with him since he started.
But immediately after these men attempt to home invade her, she decides she has
They don't attempt, June. They invade her home.
No, they make it
Girl.
upstairs and downstairs.
Fine. Immediately after it happens, she says she has to go feed the cat.
Right.
That's the first thing that's on her
After
mind.
she smacked her grandfather's ashes on one of the guys' heads.
By the way, I hate to break it to her, that urn was empty.
Yes.
Nothing
I
in
would have
there.
loved it if there was ashes everywhere.
Nothing
Yes.
in there. But then later on that night, he goes to the bathroom. She falls asleep immediately.
Wait, she first, in between, changes into nightwear.
Yes.
Super sexy nightwear.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, by the way, are we talking about is that after he makes her a full-on quiche? She's like, I got nothing in the kitchen.
Yeah. Do you know about this? Do you guys remember in the 80s there was this book called Real Men Don't Eat Quiche? And it was a joke. It was like a cultural joke of, and this book was a satire book about men don't bake and they don't make fine food. A man just wants a burger and stuff like this. So this was like their response. That James Bond needed to answer that cultural question of, does a real man eat quiche? No, he makes it himself.
And then he really undersells it. He's like, it's quiche. She's like, what's that? And he's like, scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
Also, I hate to believe that this girl who is the heiress to an oil manufacturing company does not know what a fucking quiche is.
Good point.
And also, I love that we're
What the
supposed
fuck is that? It's egg
we're
pie?
supposed to feel so much sympathy for this. I mean, and maybe, again, I didn't understand a lot of the movie, so maybe I'm just completely off. But it seems like we're supposed to care about this very wealthy family that was digging for oil. I mean, they were not philanthropists.
Right.
And they were not, you know what I mean? We're
they were
supposed
evil
to
too.
care so deeply that they've lost their company.
Well, I think the fact is that they lost it to Max Zorin.
Fair enough.
Who
But there's a
cares?
scene later on
But
where
then,
she falls
why is she
asleep.
standing on, why won't she take the $5 million, which she said is 6 times more than it's worth? What is she holding on to?
Hang on, her oil company is only worth $500,000.
Hang on, she's working a day job at City Hall, isn't she?
She's
it's a vegetable oil
geologist,
company.
right?
Yeah.
It's not even crude
Oh,
oil.
it's vegetable oil. Then
Yeah.
we can support her.
Oh, it's vegetable oil.
No, I'm joking.
Oh.
And I agreed to it really
I
quickly.
was on board. Really? I was like, oh, that's very nice. Okay.
No, it's canola oil.
Girlie just established dominance very quickly.
By the way, just in that home invasion, those guys seem so intimidating, and then when James Bond beats them all up slowly, one guy runs away and he's like, "Hey!" because the car's speeding out. He's like, "Hey, wait for me!"
And but here's the thing that I couldn't figure out is so they home invade, they come to kill her, I think, and James Bond chases them off, at which point they stay in her house for days. They sleep there that night. The CIA guy comes and visits them there.
I need to talk about the CIA guy.
Wuhan.
Okay, so James Bond meets
Got you all
his
in
CIA counterpart in a fish market. He's like, "Do you have any soft-shell crab?" And he's like, "Yeah, we got some out back." And they go, and all I could think of is, why is this guy undercover at a fish market? Is he on another assignment? Or is he working in
And
this?
also, the code word is only. You walk up to a fish market in San Francisco,
And ask
and
for
all you
fish.
have to do is get this asshole and say to him, "Do you have any soft shell crab?" "I have some in the back." There's no other fucking thing you have to say to him, and then he whips out his CIA credential, and then calls you 007.
He was doing that all morning.
Yes.
I just don't.
You keep having to call the main office and be like, "I did it again."
I want to
We need to have this man killed, this woman killed.
I want to see the other side of the scene.
A bunch of people are having a crab party. We have to have them killed.
It's a popular recipe.
I want to see they walk out back and he's like, here's my card. He's like, CIA, what is that? We just want the soft shell crab. Oh shit!
I like to imagine he has to keep killing them.
Oh, God, I
know his cover is
still
blown.
fail to see a flaw. Next scene.
But here's my theory on this. Like Donnie Brasco, like Johnny Depp is undercover. They don't go, "Hey, by the way, Johnny Depp's character in Donnie Brasco, like, hey, also, you might get another guy coming by. Just deal with him. Do you is he undercover as a fishmonger and then also doing a side job, or is he working with Max Zorn
I
because
think
he has a lot
that
of
was his
information?
his post.
I think that's his cover. Yeah,
His
because
cover
he has
is just a fishmonger.
Well, he has his fisherman buddy who
Yeah.
does a terrible Quint impression, then it disappears.
Yeah. That's right.
And then
Well, I would conjecture
Yes.
that this guy's beat for the CIA is the fish beat.
yeah,
He's like the Aquaman of the CIA.
fish crime. You don't want people selling a sea bass like a Chilean sea bass. You can't mislabel that shit.
What are you talking about? We're the CIA. Of course we have someone in the fish market.
We are the fish market.
The guy with the boat is probably who disposes of all the people who ask for soft shell crab. And he keeps calling the office, can we get a different code thing? Because this isn't working for me.
Now, all of this, the CIA guy, they're in San Francisco, the plot to flood, all of it, and I don't want to send us backwards too much, takes place after 1 hour plus spent at Christopher Walken's palatial estate where horses are being auctioned, and Bond is undercover as a horse buyer named James
St.
John
Smythe.
St. John Smythe.
St. John Smythe.
St. John Smythe.
St. John
Which
Smythe.
I had closed captioning on, which is the only reason I understand
Saint
it was
John.
St. John Smythe,
Yeah.
not St. John Smythe.
No, wait, that's how you say it.
No, really?
No, hold on.
St. John.
It is. He writes the check with that name.
St. John
But that's
Smythe.
how you say it.
It's how he.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought
They
it was
say the name.
No.
Wait.
No.
They say the name 1,000 times. St. John
St. John
Smythe.
Smythe.
And what about Mr. St. John Smythe?
Have you checked on Mr. St. John Smythe?
And I was like, what fucking kind of name is this? What is this? And I turned it on. St. John Smythe. Fuck you, movie.
We've also glossed over the most important scene in this movie, nay, cinema history, and that is when Roger Moore beds Grace Jones and kisses her in may what be the most uncomfortable moment I've ever experienced in my life. He does this like pursed lips, his cheeks like suck in like a bellows, and it just feels like he's taking the life from her, but she somehow has more to spare.
That's how you kiss a horse.
Like
It's like a Death Eater's kiss.
But have you heard the story behind this? And
Yes, this is amazing. Please tell it.
Okay, well, apparently Roger Moore and Grace Jones did not get along during this movie. Go figure. You know, two peas in
Grace
a
Jones,
pod.
known for beating up a reporter on a live interview
Yes, that's
show.
right. Yeah,
she's
slapping him.
insane,
Yeah. She apparently had a big black dildo under the covers and tried to just have her way with Roger Moore as a joke. But
Because Roger Moore used to do something. Roger Moore would always like goose the girls that he
Yeah.
would bed.
Yeah.
And they're like, you got to do something to him. So she got a
What do
big
you
black
mean,
dildo.
goose the
Wait, what
girls?
are you saying, goose the girls? I am also confused by this.
You guys don't know that term? It's like St. John Smythe.
the girls.
It's spelled differently, but it
Does he
Make
like
sure we
pinch
goose them
them,
these
or
girls.
does he like squeeze
I have no idea what
a
that
part of the? What is this? What
You
is
must
this?
goose
I feel like that's a Dom DeMillo
Somebody, you
term.
goose, you pinch him.
So he's just pinching.
Yeah.
So he pinched them.
little soft
So-
shell crab.
Hang on. So
No one's heard the term goose when you goose somebody? No?
no, but like I wonder, like
girls.
So someone says this to Grace Jones, and a little pinch, and her response to this is, "I will fuck him with a black dildo."
No, her response is, let me go to my briefcase full of black dildos cut in cutout foam and bring out, let's say Charlie number 12 and put it under the bed.
Charlie number 12 was also undercover for the CIA.
And a terrible perfume.
Did you find? Well, also like Max Zorn's like, yeah, go fuck him. Like he's like,
Oh,
That's
like,
what I mean.
thrilled
That's part
with
of,
it.
That's part of what's up, I guess. Everybody's just up for like, okay, fuck him. Oh, yeah, good.
Well,
Yeah, you have
it's
to fuck
interesting though because she has an emotional connection to Zoran.
Right.
She
And-
thinks he loves her.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
wait. They know that he's the guy who chased her down. They stared at each other. They saw each other's faces. They know he's bad. They know that he escaped through the thing. She's gonna fuck him instead of just kill him?
Also,
Break his dick off, shove
what
it in
the
his
fuck
mouth.
is Zoran doing? Not just fucking punching his name into his magical license to kill computer
That computer
that he
is
has at
hilarious.
his desk. Like, at any point, I bet he could go down to that office and punch this in.
Something tells me that when you're so deep undercover in MI6, there's not like a file that comes up as like undercover, extremely dangerous, usually armed. Like,
But that's the problem with these movies is they have it both ways. When he wants to be secret, he's secret, and then most of the time it's James Bond, famous super spy, in our hotel.
Yeah, what's amazing about it is that this movie gives the impression that no one in the KGB, except for the smartest guy on the planet, doesn't know who fucking James Bond is.
And
So he's the
shown his
only
face
guy.
multiple
Yeah.
times to these people as different people.
But even the blonde girl who he beds in a hot tub, knows him immediately.
Okay, here's the question, right?
Yeah. Great move.
Walken sends Grace Jones to kill the French detective with the Papillon,
Yeah.
who is sitting at a table
Yep.
with James Bond.
Yep.
Right.
Grace Jones, for another 90 minutes, does not recognize James
That's what
Bond.
I'm saying.
Yes.
She just saw him. They
just
were
seen
face
him.
to face
Yes.
on the boat.
Yeah,
They were
she was
mere
lining
inches-
up her butterfly target right by him.
Yes. I mean, and arguably because he was talking to Bond, right?
Right. Well,
Yes. Well, he
Well,
was
I don't
giving out
know
information.
I feel like he was just
About
she was just going to kill him.
But my point being, like, he is. You're right. They always want it both ways. He is capable of being so, like he convinces Tanya Roberts he's a reporter for the whatever.
James Times.
Yes, exactly. And it's always James Blank.
Well, except for the
James
times
Spy.
where
Because he can't remember a different first name.
he really is unrecognizable when he puts on a tiny hat.
A
leather
smart
jacket.
equestrian cap.
Yeah.
By the way,
Face-
there's also
his face and hair feel like something was going on in that hair. That was
Trump
not
Oh,
wise,
yeah.
you mean?
They had
Yes.
to thicken it every day.
For
This
sure.
is the,
Really?
Yeah.
They what?
They had to thicken it every day in this movie. Like, I
your
don't-
body language is just we're destroying your childhood movie.
They had to thicken it like with flour.
But his hair is so
like
weird.
I would have less problem saying my hair was thinning. Like it's harder for me to admit that Roger Moore's hair is thinning. It's somehow breaking my heart.
Buddy,
right
it's
now.
okay.
It's
Sean
all right.
Connery wore a toupee through all of them.
I know that. It's
We
just
get to when they break into City Hall and this. Oh, I still got my card. Let's go to City Hall at night. All right.
Do you have any clips of Tanya Roberts acting?
Yo, yeah, 100%.
bring up
Because
Beastmaster.
I have not seen a delivery like this
James.
in my.
I was wondering.
Okay.
Oh, this-
is also something I wanted to bring up. James Bond is asleep on a chair with a shotgun to protect her.
Sleep.
It takes
With a cat on him.
She leaves the room, prepares breakfast, comes back. This old motherfucker does not wake up unless there's an earthquake.
An earthquake, which she has an Apple IIc.
That is hooked up to the earthquake net.
Yep. It's with a push of the button, she can read the seismic reaction to that earthquake.
Well,
Okay,
this is
yeah,
the scene.
let's see this.
Not since January. What was it?
Jones?
No, not January. What was her name? Christmas.
Christmas
Her name-
Jones.
Christmas Jones. When Denise
January Christmas
Richards
Jones.
Yeah.
played a geologist of some kind
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, she was a
She was a
nuclear
nuclear
physicist.
physicist.
Okay. Yeah. Here we go.
Big difference. Oh, sorry. Let's
Good
protect
morning.
you. Oh, you're not even. Oh.
I want to say. Breakfast, out of bed. What's wrong with your
His
pets?
suit is made
We
of
had an
skin,
earth
by
tremor.
the way.
They're extremely sensitive to seismic activity.
She's
Let's see
wearing
what the earthquake center
a
has.
Will Arnett style robe from 30 Rock.
Just a minor tremor. Measure 2.5 on the Richter scale.
She has a
Location,
full face of makeup first thing in the morning.
That's odd.
She has a full
the
body of
epicenter's near Zoran's oil field.
I took it that Zoran was pumping seawater into his
Look at him though; he's amazing. Come
Is there a
on.
connection?
Seawater?
Like June. Let me ask you a
Those
question.
wells are in the Hayward Fault. Are you sure?
Checked it myself.
That's incredibly dangerous. Hal has to stop Zoran now.
I gotta say that. Okay, maybe this wasn't her best scene, but I enjoyed her.
Wait.
Thank
What
you.
about
Thank you.
Paul? You probably
I
don't
did.
have it, but the scene where they are talking to the CIA agent,
Yeah.
around the dinner table,
Don't have that.
and she remembers, I still have my security badge.
Yeah.
And then the way she delivers
And it's
the
summer,
line,
so City Hall's open late.
Yeah.
It's not blackout days.
well, and then the way she delivers the line, I have to get it upstairs. There's no reason for that. There's no reason for that. And then the
Well, that
CIA
was
agent goes
scripted.
out. He apparently pulls up to all of his jobs with fucking death metal playing. So loud. Like he drives up. There's such loud music coming from his car.
Why, can I ask a question? Why do they kill the CIA agent in his car and then drive away in his car?
couldn't figure
Why
it
not
out.
just wait?
Why not just kill the rest of them then? Did they only come to get him?
When
And
are
then
you guys
get
going to
his
realize
car?
He had the in on the fish market.
No. These
Was
are
that a hit?
That wasn't
based on
even
his
Grace
history?
Jones. That was somebody else entirely.
You're
By the
looking
way-
for plot continuity. These are performance art killers, and they're making a statement.
Grace Jones's move is
love it if it was
this
revealed
great
that-
move. This one, which is just this, like, hey, just a normal car. Just sneaking up the old sneaker upper.
I will say it did get me the first time.
Me too.
See?
The
Oh
first
yeah,
time,
you're
again.
anticipating
the first
it,
time
though.
and she disappeared. I was like, oh, that's funny that they made her kind of magic. She kind of just
They
disappeared.
made her kind of magic.
And then she was in the car the whole time, and I was like, oh boy, I'm dumb. I really got too stoned to watch this movie.
See? It's
I
art.
should have seen that a mile away.
It's art. It's art.
They break into City Hall, and, well, this sequence, I mean, the fact that Zoran catches them, who gives a shit?
Right.
Because they are in there 100%. But the thing that I'm amazed at is this next sequence where they light City Hall on fire.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden the movie's like, well, let's see what a homeless person's perspective of this scene might be. And they cut to a homeless
Socially
person.
conscious.
And again, to June's point before, like, us, the audience, know the plan, so it's not really fun for us to watch them discover the plan.
Yeah.
This, you're watching a homeless man watch this rescuing of James Bond and the girl, but we're also on the inside seeing James Bond rescue the girl. There's no, like,
Paul.
when James Bond pops, yes.
Paul, this is the audience surrogate.
But,
We're
okay.
seeing this through his eyes because we are garbage people.
This
I would
movie's-
love to be garbage people, but here's the thing. We see him save her, and then they cut to the outside, and everyone's like, oh, will he save her? And then, yeah, we saw it already.
already saw
This
it.
is the director,
Everyone-
John Glenn, like realizing Spielberg would become hugely popular, and this is the same reason that Camper Shell gets the top ripped off. So you see that couple go, "What?"
Yeah.
It's all about those little Spielberg cameos. They steal everything in James Bond movies.
So that's a Spielberg thing?
Of just
I don't remember E.T. being told through the point of view of a drunk, except for Drew Barrymore. She was drunk
this is
at
the
the
weird
time.
thing.
She's fine now.
But here's the weird thing. I sort of accept
Too
it.
soon.
Way too soon. I sort of get it from the point of view of the naked people in the car when
Yeah,
the
because they're
tops
just
were
trying to get
up.
their groove on in the back
Yeah.
of a pickup truck.
And it's surprising and different that this should happen in the middle of their.
Like, what the hook?
Yes, but for the homeless man, it's
Because
so
you always
weird.
have sex with Paul lying next to him, half covered.
Of course.
They're just next to each other.
Yeah, of course.
But for the homeless person's point of view, he's just outside being homeless, and then this.
Well, he's not going to be inside being
He's
homeless.
just outside being
Yep.
homeless.
That's how he do.
I'm just outside being homeless.
Now what's going on here?
And then he
If
looks
you
up and
invite
that's
me
happening.
in.
I guess what I'm saying is it's not like he's slipping on a banana peel. It's not like, whoa, this is crazy. It's like he just happens to look up and this thing is happening pretty far away from him. So to your point, it's not really that like that cameo where he's doing something.
I'm not saying it worked.
Again, I just feel like but the music is like triumphant, like James Bond saved her, like, and everyone's like watching.
Dance into the fire.
And then we get into a 15-minute long fire
Okay,
truck chase
So this is one thing I want to talk
from
about.
a Chicago cop in San Francisco.
This is what I want to talk about because Zorn lights all of City Hall on
Ablaze,
fire.
yep.
Ablaze. And what does James Bond fucking do but steal a working fire truck and drive it away from the scene of a fire? Well, what a piece of shit!
Only after.
It's so weird to see this movie because I saw it so young that I've never questioned it. It's like I never doubt that the Ewoks are brilliant.
into the fire
It's
truck.
like,
We'll get away in this.
Wait a second.
It'll be both
wait a
inconspicuous.
second. I want
line
to
from the song
challenge
is?
one more theory of this. He also hits a lever on the fire truck that shoots out water as if it's hooked up to a fire hydrant. But that's not how fire trucks work, right? Like, fire trucks are not full of
'Cause
water.
Some are. Some tank trucks are.
Okay, that's not a tank truck. That's a ladder truck.
That is a ladder truck. You're
That's
right.
a ladder truck.
Some
fire
trucks do have water in them.
Yeah,
Then this
wait a
movie
second.
is restored back
Wait a
to
second.
good.
Wait a second. I do want to know,
We're good.
just because I feel like we are conjecturing about it. June, do you know anything about fire trucks?
I know a little bit.
You do?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear about it.
You live down the block from a firehouse.
I did. Yeah, for a long time. I don't know. I mean, I felt like the hose situation I also had an issue with because I didn't know what it was attached to.
Sure.
I understand what you're saying. Like, it seemed crazy that he was taking
Seems
the fire
irresponsible.
truck away from a fire.
Seems irresponsible. There are still, I believe, other people in City Hall.
And it really did seem like that was the only fire truck on the scene.
It was that one and the ladder truck that he climbed down the ladder of. He climbed down that.
No, that's the same one.
No, that ladder was up.
Oh, okay.
And he gets on this truck and drives away. So there's two trucks.
Well,
he drives away in one of them.
You're also forgetting the fact that the San Francisco Police Department has already found a body, processed, and decided who killed him.
And this guy is 100%
While the
familiar.
building's on fire.
He's 100% familiar with James Bond. Like, yeah, I heard about you.
Okay, I get it.
Ow.
You guys, the minus column is almost where the plus column is for this movie. Okay.
Well, I have to say, too, Tanya Roberts, she seems fine when she starts her descent on that ladder. And then halfway, he's carrying dead weight down that ladder. That seems
Yeah.
hard.
Why isn't
He's
she
carrying
able
dead
to
weight
walk?
through this movie.
She's fine.
She
I
seems
thought she was
healthy to me.
fine.
She
Is it
seems
that
She
she's
seemed
wearing heels and it
able-bodied.
would be hard to walk down the ladder in
Of course it would be
heels?
hard, but
which she
I feel like
never
you help a
takes
guy
off
out.
at any point to run out of the burning building. She leaves her 6-inch heels on.
You gotta look good.
James.
Oh, she
She says James so many times. That's why
James,
it's James.
don't leave me, James. Help me so much that I was like, ooh, I wanted you to leave her.
I know.
She just had abandonment issues, I think.
She's very codependent.
Yep.
I will say that. She was very codependent.
Grandpa!
She had a very unnatural relationship with the portrait of her grandfather.
I didn't like the scene where he plays peekaboo with her for like 5 minutes. Grandpa, where'd you go? I'm right here.
And he pulls a quarter out of
Because
her.
she has a lack of object permanence.
James, St. John Smythe. James, stop.
James St. John Smythe. I couldn't fucking deal with that.
June, how would you? How did you? I mean, I will ask you this, June. Like as a romance expert, I guess I'll ask you this. Did you find that there was like a chemistry between the two of them?
No.
You guys are cold and dead.
No, I mean, it did feel, especially that scene where he's bedside, it felt like, oh, this is just, I felt the whole situation was very vulnerable. Like, oh, there's a little baby girl lying on her bed, and there's a really old man sitting in the chair.
It's kind of like the
cat,
beginning
it
scene
just
in
felt
Princess
scary.
Bride.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
This is
it's
a
been a
May,
great
December
story.
romance, but it's December of the next year.
Their relationship.
Baby New Year and Old New Year.
Their relationship is because he really he fucks like at the drop of a hat. Like he fucks 4 women in the movie, as we said, 3 of whom he just fucks like Willie almost accidentally.
Like yeah,
Grace
there's
Jones,
not even flirting going on.
There's nothing. But with Tanya Roberts, he acts like a daddy to her. Like he tucks her into bed. He tucks her into her childhood bed.
It's disturbing.
She's
That
wearing
scene is disturbing.
she's wearing like almost nothing, and he tucks her into like a twin canopy bed with the comforter. And I was like, this is fucking gross as shit.
After he had provided a meal for her.
Yes, and then he watches over her with her cat in his lap. There was a lot of shots of that cat, and there was a lot of shots of the KGB agent's white panties.
Oh,
Anybody
I
else?
didn't see this.
Yeah.
There were like 3 close-ups of that when they're in the hot tub of like panties. And I was like, I feel like this is just supposed to be like salacious. Like, guess what? She's not wearing bottoms. Because guess what? They're right there. Panties clean.
And you also see like James Bond
No period,
naked.
not period panties.
You see James Bond from knee down, and I didn't want that camera to go up. I
Yeah.
didn't want any more of his
See her knee
thigh.
down, and then it cuts outside to her boss, the head of the KGB, who for some reason is in San Francisco waiting for an agent to blow James Bond.
In
The
a
head of the
bathhouse.
KGB.
They're in a bathhouse.
He doesn't even know the guy. She's just there doing something else. She's just doing her own mission.
Well, yeah, with
Right?
Zorn.
She's unrelated. So they don't even know James Bond is there. She's like, oh
so
my
the
God,
stuff
James Bond.
she's doing when she's
With the
in
Walkman,
scuba
you mean? With the Sony Walkman?
Yeah.
The very high-tech device known as a Sony fucking Walkman?
But when she
is it
she
that-
meets him under the docks,
Yeah.
was she's on another mission there?
She's on her own mission.
That has
But
nothing
it's
to
a
do
similar
with-
mission.
She was on a mission.
They're trying to take down Zorn too because
They
the
don't
KGB.
know each other. I mean, they don't know each other are doing this.
No, but
they're not in conjunction. I mean.
This
Right.
part was originally supposed to be played by Barbara Bach, who was the lead in The Spy Who Loved Me. So it was supposed to be a recurring character. But I think my only explanation is she read the script and went, "I'm not touching this movie."
And wasn't she also married to Ringo Starr?
Yes, she
So her
still
husband
is.
She was
Ringo's
like,
probably like,
I am married to Ringo Starr, so I do not need to do this
Yeah,
shit.
I'm doing movies like Caveman. Thank you, no.
That's where they met,
Yeah,
and they fell in love.
yeah.
And now, who knows?
All right, so yeah, that's a mess. That whole sequence is a mess.
But we'll agree it's just that sequence, right? Everything else is we're good on.
I just
When
want-
she says the bubbles are tickling my Tchaikovsky.
I know that these guys have questions. I want to get to their questions as well, but I want to just, before we do, just talk about the most anticlimactic end scene of any James Bond movie. Like, the villain death is so, like, blah.
I may seriously fight you on this.
Really?
What I do like about his death is the laugh he
Yes.
lets out.
I love that.
Before
I
he
love
falls.
that. He's like, I'm going to die. I
That does
thought
it all
that was
for
a
me.
great choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also felt like it's two men that aren't really good fighters
And who
fighting
aren't
in
the
the
men
most precarious place.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, "Meh," and then one fell off. It's sort of like,
You know, there's
yeah.
a story behind that too. They said you can go up on the bridge as long as you don't fight up there. You can only struggle. That's the only way we're going to legally allow you to do it. So that's why when you see them up there, they're just kind of doing the twist.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Why? Because they were afraid people would go up there and fight?
No, they were afraid
Copycats?
that
We can't encourage
They were
it.
afraid someone would actually get hurt.
Yeah, they were afraid the stuntmen themselves, if they were too physical, would like slip up and fall or something.
because it is like that's. I mean, I don't mind him grabbing on and falling, but it's like. Well, you want something more.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like even just a whole grab onto James Bond's leg and then James Bond's like, oh, they're all hanging off the bridge. Goonies style.
It does. As soon as Christopher Walken falls off the bridge, it makes me realize the movie I wanted to see was the crazy German guy in an airship.
Oh yeah,
An airship that has a safe with dynamite in it.
I would argue it's a refrigerator. Is it a refrigerator?
I never put that together. Why does a blimp
Why does it have dynamite in it?
Oh my
Why does it have dynamite in it?
Why
It's like a mad bomber. It's like,
Oh, the
Is
humanity.
he like get a turn and say, "Let's go fishing"?
Why does a blimp need a safe?
I love that hands are up.
I feel like at a certain point anybody could just be like, wait, who is at the beginning of the movie? They could have been like, somebody is a villain, somebody's a bad guy, something bad is happening. They might as well just be like, well, round up all the blimp owners, and it's one of them. Because only bad guys.
Oh, so you mean it's either Goodyear or this Max Zorin character?
Yeah,
It's Fuji, Goodyear, or Zorin.
Who's purchased dirigibles this year?
as I mentioned before, there are two blimps in this movie, two Zorn blimps, but also at one point in the movie
That are labeled
Yeah.
Zorn.
and he throws a man out of one.
Yeah.
And wouldn't that come back to
No.
track you? Yeah.
All you do is you get the three blimp owners and you go, which one of you sumbitches got a safe in your blimp?
Well, what's funny about the guy that gets thrown out of the blimp in the first place is that all of a sudden they drop the dummy they drop out of it. They don't even bother to make its legs not flip the completely wrong way. So you're to think that this man fell from the sky and when he hit terminal velocity, his knees broke in half.
June, you had a thought about that.
Well, no, I'm just curious. Why blimps for Zorin?
Because he's German and he's a Nazi and the Hindenburg.
Gotcha.
I think it's more that they we haven't done blimps and we are out of ideas.
Also, the blimp is the most shoehorned in title of this movie because they're walking
yes.
at the Golden Gate Bridge. It's like, ooh, what a view to a kill.
No, it's split
between
by
Grace
Mayday
Jones
and so
and Walken.
Jason, you be
guys, let's
Mayday.
honor the
Jason-
text. Honor the text.
Jason will be Mayday. Matt Gorley, I'll let you be Chris Walken.
Okay.
What a view.
To a kill.
All right, here we go. We got some
Titular
questions.
line of that movie.
We got some questions.
Comes from a poem.
Okay, good. Your question.
I was wondering if any of you noticed that when the bomb was counting down at the end, it was reading 19 minutes and 94 seconds. And 93. I took a picture.
See this picture.
Oh, that says everything.
Wait, was it?
Yeah, I see it.
This movie's terrible, Matt Gorley.
Terribly wonderful.
All right, your question.
Simply the best.
Your question, your James Bond female name and your name.
Seals, James Seals. Female name would be Misty Slick.
Ooh, I like that.
Messy sled?
What? Misty Slick.
Not bad.
Slip?
Misty Slip. Misty Slip.
How long have you been thinking about that? That's too well thought out and gross.
Yeah. You're either like a premeditated creep or a genius.
And by the way,
so the slip is misting. I love this.
Slit. Right?
Slut?
Misty Slit.
Slit. He's saying slit.
What?
Misty.
Slut?
Misty
Spell it.
Slit.
S-L-I-C-K.
Like a
Slick.
like a
oil slick.
Slick.
Oh, no, we
Slick.
like the other one.
Misty Slick.
No, Misty and Slick are two of the same thing. Misty is the adjective for the slit. Is that right? Yeah.
All right, your question.
Now, in the movie,
Misty
Bond doesn't actually
Slick.
use a gun to kill anyone. What? Is that because the movie came out 2 years after the Ronald Reagan assassination attempt?
What's that?
So, but James Bond doesn't use a gun in this movie to kill anyone.
He also, there's no Q gadgets either in this movie.
There is one Q gadget. It is a sharper image credit card.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is on the level of the Batman
Yes,
and
it
American
is a
Express
sharper
card.
image gadgets. He has three gadgets.
That undoes a window lock.
Plus, he has the polarized sunglasses and the carbon copy check thing.
Oh yeah. Wait, but you bring up a very good point, which is, was the fact that he didn't use a gun because Ronald Reagan was just almost assassinated with a gun?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right.
Yeah, he was shooting at the FL, but he didn't kill anybody. But then there is about 35 minutes of Max Zorn mowing down his whole workforce.
Yeah, I mean,
They don't seem to worry about
they're
that.
already dying.
Just giggling.
There are definitely gun deaths in this movie.
June, you threatened to shut off the movie at that point.
I was really upset by that
For
part.
his lack of loyalty?
These people were dying horrible deaths already, and
Yeah.
then he gunned them
It's a
down.
But I would
Tonal
argue,
shift,
I would
right?
argue,
so terrible.
June, at least where I fall on this is I would rather get shot to death than drown to death. And maybe he's doing a nice thing for them.
Wow.
All right, your name, your James Bond girl,
quicker.
and your question.
All right, my name is Cody. My Bond girl is Monica Rusty Trombone.
A little cumbersome.
All right, it's heavily
Monica.
I know why Monica.
It seemed to fit. My question is, was the PG-13 rating invented after this movie was made? Because, first of all, there was
PG-13 rating movie was invented for Temple
Dawn.
of Doom.
Red Dawn. It's Red
was it
Dawn.
Red Dawn? Or
And
was
then Temple of Doom was the second.
Well,
84.
just because there's the slaughtering scene where Max Vorn just wantonly kills dozens of people. Then there's just like a ton of nipples in the Duran Duran.
nipples have been with us
There were
in
nips?
the James Bond movie.
Well, that's
Yes,
in the
Jason.
opening,
I
right?
barely saw
I
nips.
didn't really see nipples.
I was looking for nips.
If you want nipples, check out The Spy Who Loved Me, and that's a Matt Gorley moment.
All right, here we go. You, sir, your name,
An MGM?
That's the one. That's the
name,
one.
James Bond, and your question.
The more you know.
My name is actually Zorn.
What?
Paul, get away from him! Check his license.
Lost
His
it.
license.
He's with a giant African American woman.
Lawsuit.
I guess my James Bond girl name would be Carol Lingus.
I like it.
I like it.
Best one yet.
And I guess
Except
it's not
for
so
Misty
much a question
Slit.
as
By the creep in the back corner.
Yeah, there it is. I just wanted to make sure we didn't go an episode without knowing the exact moment in the movie where Jason came. So I imagine it was the moment.
That is an excellent question. Jason, at what point of the movie did you come?
Great question, Jason.
What's this now?
He wants to know, when in the movie did you come?
Oh, interesting. Well, it was definitely during the horses. Ooh, it's a beautiful animal. It's a beautiful, beautiful animal.
All right. Your name, your James Bond girl, and your question.
My name's... This is deeply upsetting. My name's Maria. The Bond girl name, I think just a good...
I just came.
I feel like Vajayjay could make a good Bond girl.
Vajayjay.
And I would like to ask June, our resident wig expert, what he thought of Christopher Walken's wiggy wig.
Hang on, because on our podcast we are always talking, and I've always wanted to see you guys be in the same room because Matt Gorley.
Because you thought they were the same person.
Yes.
And you were like, until I see them in a room together, Matt Gorley, to believe.
Matt Gorley claims to have the best wigdar in the business.
Well, that's interesting you asked that question because I did not think it was a wig.
It's not a wig. Microphone cheers.
Yeah. I didn't think it was a wig at all.
Not
it's
really.
a dye job, but it's not a wig.
It's a dye job, but it's not. I didn't see any hairlines I wasn't comfortable with.
Does this reinforce both of our wig
I think
confidence?
So.
Yeah.
I didn't know for sure it wasn't a wig, but I'm
with you.
I didn't feel it was.
Yeah.
Great job on Wig Talk.
Wait, so with June, it's more of a feeling.
Yeah, no, I never do any research.
I think June is always operating on intuition primarily.
Let me see here. I want to go. Who here has come from a far distance? Because I want to make sure if you have a good question from far distance. Where are you from?
I'm from where the movie is in San Francisco.
That's not that far enough. Anyone further? Anyone further with a good? Do you have a good question?
That's in the same state.
I'll come back to you.
Is there anybody from that weird restaurant in the Eiffel Tower?
Actually, in the audience tonight, we have Miss Rose, who did the Papillon butterfly presentation.
That'd be amazing.
Yes. All right. Where your name, your James Bond villain, and your question?
Name is Scott, from Chicago. The James Bond girl or villain?
Girl.
Girl, we'll go doggy style.
All right.
You can't name a person doggy. Like it does. There's.
How about like Dorothy style?
Dorothy style.
Dorothy style.
Christmas is okay because you can see like, oh, we got drunk, we fucked, it was Christmas. I get it. Like we're not gonna go like, oh, we consumed.
What about this? Pussy galore is just cat and dog. You can do it. There's a precedent.
We fucked. We were listening to the Snoop Dogg record Doggy Style, so we named her Doggy Style. Doggy Style, St. John Smythe.
What is your question?
My question is, I'm not quite sure on the timeline, but did this movie actually invent snowboarding? Because if it existed before, they would clearly know that the Beach Boys is inappropriate music.
Yeah. It's credited with popularizing it and putting it into mainstream, I think.
Oh, wow.
But I'm sure it existed previously.
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
Yes, that is
because somebody had to do it.
That is clearly a snowboard that guy is using.
Yeah. Now you would think you have a really good question. Let's see if you have it. Is it good?
I think so.
All right. What's your name, your James Bond girl, and your question? Here we go.
My name is Erin, and I think you like Jugsy Malone.
I like it.
I'm on board.
Jugsy Malone.
Jugsy Malone.
What's her cup size?
Triple D.
Triple D?
Triple
Yeah.
D?
I mean, it might suffocate you. Let's go back. Double D.
Yeah.
My question is, towards the beginning of the film, when they're in like the fuck boat.
Fuck ship.
The fuck sub?
I apologize. The
Fuck sub. Getting a lady on my fuck sub.
He says like put it on autopilot, and they're clearly like surrounded by large icebergs.
Yep.
And apparently we learned nothing from the Titanic because he's like, yeah, just put the boat on autopilot, and they're like in the middle of a circle of large pieces of ice.
Well, I think he was primarily concerned about dipping his dick in some caviar.
Yeah, and here's the thing. The fuck sub can get around. I mean, the Titanic was like 60 years previously. They've learned from that.
I don't know if you know.
The autopilot in the fuck sub is able to avoid icebergs.
A fuck sub is powered by fucking, and so they are only in better shape.
James, they're running out of steam. We must fuck.
All right, here we go. We're almost done with our questions. Here we go. Your name, your James Bond girl, and your question.
My name is Nikki. My James Bond girl would be Duet to Me.
Oh, one more time.
Stand up.
Do it.
Stand up.
To
That's
me.
perfect. Stand up and take that. Take that. Take a bow. Take a bow.
She did it.
Here we go.
And I think my question is for June because we're in the same boat where Daniel Craig is all I know, and then this. Were you really creeped out by the sexual thing? I mean, at one time he says...
Oh dear, she has evidence.
You are like a reporter like
He
interviewing
says,
James Bond.
I had trouble sleeping, but I got off eventually, and that's because he had just slept with Grace Jones, which I was really creeped out by the...
Well, but he was throwing it in Zorn's face that he blasted his lady.
I didn't mean to hear that from Grandpa. Like, hear
Well,
that
also,
from Grandpa
what I
was
didn't
not
like is in that
okay.
scene where he appeared, when Zoran and Grace Jones open the door and he's lying in the bed, he presents himself as though he's a gift to the people.
And your
it's
point
just like, he's not, you know. I'm sorry, and it's fine.
Did you
like
also
it's
notice
fine
that?
the way he looks. It's just he's not a gift.
When he does that and he opens the covers, like essentially unwrapping himself, and she gets in bed, they cut like 40 frames out of her getting into bed because she clearly was sharing it.
They had to cut all that dildo action out. All right, well, clearly we had an opinion about this movie, but there are other people who had a different opinion. It is now time for Second Opinions. These are 5-star reviews culled from Amazon. The most interesting one, before we get into them, is this guy, Go Birds 2. He reviews A View to a Kill every single year. And he writes...
I can't believe you found my screen name.
And he writes pretty much the same thing. I'm going to just show the audience, like, this is pages. Pages. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
The reviews get longer.
7 pages of View to a Kill reviews every single year. He is from New England, and he's a top 1,000 reviewer. Okay, so go read that. There's no way I was going to get into that. This one is from Matt. Maybe one of you guys. 5 stars. I love collecting and watching James Bond movies.
So far, it's us.
But I love collecting and watching James Bond movies during the winter when there's nothing on nor anywhere to go. Because
I pilot a fuck sub.
Because it
as a
passes
seasonal
the time. It passes the time. That is why he likes it. 5 stars.
Considering suicide.
Do you think that he lives in like the part of Alaska that is dark for 9 months?
Doubt it.
Patricia Applequist writes, wow, I forgot how silly we were back then. And better yet, it's a great throwback to what computers used to look like. Honestly, James Bond kisses must be fabulous because there isn't anything risque about them except for the neon. I don't know what that means.
What?
5 stars. This person is reviewing this movie for 5 stars, saying that she likes looking at old computers and imagining sexy Roger Moore kisses.
Wait. So if I came across this woman and somehow in life I was like, I like sometimes seeing old computers in movies.
What?
The first thing she'd say is View to a Kill. There's 2 computers in this movie.
Well,
don't forget, she also likes non-sexualized kissing.
When she watches War Games, she just vibrates.
She functions on a higher plane.
Do you want to play a game?
This one has so many
You guys are gross. No, you guys are gross for laughing at that. Think about that, Misty Slit.
This is pretty great. I own all 21 007 movies.
So now we can say this was written in like 19...
This is written after Casino Royale 2005.
Well, technically it was written November 23rd, 2013. I own all 21 007 movies. If I didn't like them, I wouldn't have bought them.
Fair enough.
Oh, that is just sound logic.
I think what I like more than anything is when Bond gets in over his head, the scriptwriter always gets him out of it.
Wait, so this guy appreciates movies on only the level of, I know eventually the guy that was writing this is going to figure out how to get out of it.
5
I appreciate
stars.
this for its dramatic challenges and its narrative flow.
And finally, this one. I'm a sucker for 80s movies and James Bond, so naturally, I love this movie. Sure, Roger Moore is old, and the plot is mediocre, and the acting is too. But I don't care. The stunts are cool, the chicks are hot, except for Grace Jones. Oh, she is too androgynous for any heterosexual man's taste. And it's James Bond, for God's sakes. James Bond is just the best. I don't see why so many people dislike this movie. I really don't. And am I the only one who likes this song by Duran Duran?
The #1 hit of its time?
No one has ever mentioned it. It's definitely one of the movie's strong points. Anyway, it's a cool movie. Buy it.
Cool movie. Buy it.
Wow, he really took off on Grace Jones there. Guys, I think
I
we
love
did.
Grace Jones in this movie, actually. I think like,
she's very good.
She's great in that movie.
For a horse.
I love that.
She's great.
I thought, and she sold all of the action she did.
100%.
For us, I feel like falls into a Brigitte Nielsen Bai Ling kind of scenario.
Yeah.
Like a very funny, like compelling, like
But
weird
there's there's something about her on screen where she's like a little dangerous.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
she slaps herself, and it's exciting.
Yeah.
I would almost would have liked
foreplay.
Her foreplay is violent.
Yes.
Why couldn't Mayday have just been the villain?
No, because
No, we can't do that. Paul, she owns 0 blimps.
True.
How many blimps do you own? Oh, none. Oh, you can't be the villain then.
I have a safe. Do you have a blimp? No, I'm sorry.
Do you guys
You
recommend
got my
watching
safe in your blimp. You got my blimp in your safe. Hey, wait a minute.
Do you guys
Third base.
Do you guys recommend this movie? I'm standing up for a reason, but go ahead. Recommend it?
I say no. But it's very long. You could watch some of the scenes if you wanted.
So you're...
Yeah, I just wouldn't watch them in any sort of an order.
But I wouldn't watch the whole movie, is what I'm saying. Especially you can fast forward anything with horses in it because it's not relevant to the rest of the movie whatsoever.
You could start watching
Once
the
you've
movie
heard
and then
Smythe.
skip the entire. Yeah, the entire horse auction is completely unnecessary.
Yep, and it's very long.
I would say watch it over and over and over.
I recommend this movie with every drop of blood that pumps through my heart. If you have a loved one, hold them close, turn down the lights, cuddle up on your couch or divan, put on the movie, preferably Blu-ray. Don't stream it because the compression rates won't do it justice. Turn off your phones.
No second screen?
No second screen. No.
This is a one-screen experience.
Unless you're going to do like an Oculus Rift, just virtual reality thing.
Where you feel like you're falling off the Golden Gate Bridge.
You know, in fact...
Which would be preferable to watching the movie?
No! Get one of those little things you put on your iPhone that projects a movie on the ceiling and just lie back in bed on a bearskin rug on the bed.
Wait, eating caviar by the handful.
Yeah, but you're also in a bath.
Hang on, you just told me to get a Blu-ray of it, and now you're saying project it off your phone?
Well, I just want you to get the Blu-ray to support it financially, but don't watch that. Just project it on the ceiling. You're in a big bed. You're in a fuck ship, and you're going to town.
Fuck sub.
Yeah, that's
Getting these ladies on my fuck sub.
All right, well, thank you, the men of James Bonding.
Right.
Very excited for our crossover episode. Very, very excited. Thank you so much for listening to our first ever crossover episode. Give it up to Matt Myra. Give it up to Matt Gorley. All those amazing guys. Just some things to plug. We have a Twitter at HDTGM. You can always find all the up-to-date info there. If you thought we missed anything, and I know that we did, all you have to do is simply go to our Earwolf board. Just go to Earwolf, go to the forum, and leave a comment, a correction, an omission, and we'll read that on the mini episode. That's how much fun it is. This is an interactive podcast. I also want to give a big, huge shout out to Avril Halley, who pulls all of our clips. She went deep to get some great clips in this episode. Also, Nate Kiley, our researcher, although he could not best Matt and Matt. Those guys knew a lot of shit. And you can follow me on Twitter. You can follow June on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram as well. You can do whatever you want. And make sure you check out Frank Pierre Presents the Pierre Resort and Casino Hotel on YouTube, my new Adult Swim infomercial. And also, if you're feeling like, hey, I want more Paul Scheer and more podcasts in my life, then check out the Sylvester Stallone podcast over there on the Wolf Pop, which I really love. The Wolf Pop, doing good stuff. All right, that is all for us right now. I want to give a thanks to July Diaz, who recorded the episode, Leanna Waldron, who does all of our artwork, everybody over at Earwolf. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
This has been an Earwolf Media production. Executive producers Jeff Ulrich and Scott Aukerman. For more information, visit earwolf.com.
EarwolfRadio.com. The wolf dead.